The best thing I learned from participating in LSA was really how much my hometown has grown in very important sectors in the community, especially in education, in the youth, biomedical sciences, in the military community, and how much it has evolved with the times.
The best thing about participating with Leadership San Antonio were the relationships that I made from my class, the folks that were in my class for 9 months that I wouldn't have met but for Leadership San Antonio. And some of my best friends today I made years ago when I was in Leadership San Antonio.
I think the ability to learn from different perspectives, to compare notes, to just get, frankly, a whole new group of thought partners that I can call now when I have a challenge and I don't know how to think about it, is just invaluable.
Life is all about relationships, and relationships is what makes our life more colorful, it makes it more meaningful, and the fact that you can use relationships to do great things in the community. I learned that there were so many other things in the community that I wasn't aware of, where people were using their passion and their heart to do something good for others. And it just opened my eyes and opened some other avenues to do good things here in our city.
From the time that I came on the board to now, the budget has grown from $3 million to over $30 million, and it's been amazing to see that growth. But the other thing I think is amazing is that what that growth required was a very skilled set of board members. And the last 4 chairs of the board of directors, myself being the last one, have all been Leadership San Antonio alums and friends that were made through those class years. And the incoming board chair is Clay Jett, one of my classmates. And to see how we all work so effectively together, and the friendships that were gained during that class can really be leveraged to serve our community and to make this community a better place and to really change generations for the good is amazing to see that could come from a year of Leadership San Antonio.
I think what's really unique about it, you get a lot of young people, some of which know a little bit about San Antonio, but then they get a broader perspective of the whole community, the many different things that are happening in our community, whether it's in the government or the private sector. And I believe that energizes them. You can tell from the questions they ask.
Well, the best thing I learned from participating in LSA, not being from San Antonio, was just the inner workings of San Antonio, of everything from government and politics to education, health and human services. All of that, for me as an outsider, it was great to get that behind the scenes peek at everything that's going on in the city and what makes this city, this wonderful city, work.
Parts of the city and the government and the workings of the city and the infrastructure that I would have never probably learned about, or would have been very difficult for me to learn about without the benefit of LSA.
It kind of reminded me of being back in school, where you go on those field trips, you know, you get on the bus and you go on some trip to get to know something and be educated about something. But it was really neat to learn primarily the government, and then going to like Security Hill on the base, learning the military infrastructure of the city. I really appreciated understanding some of the nonprofits that were part of our group, how they function, how the business community, collaborates with different organizations. So it was very enlightening for me.
And I think you get back from it as much as you put into it. And I think if you really do put everything you have into it, you're going to reap the benefits for years to come. Whether you're still going to happy hour with your original LSA class or not, I think there are perks and benefits that come up from the relationships that you are able to garner and forge during LSA that will last a lifetime.
To the extent we were the last ones, we figured we'd essentially create a day of quality of life. So we started the day late, which compared, I think, in a welcome way to everybody else's days. So typically you had people starting at 7 o'clock, and it's kind of a scramble logistically for people to get to wherever the staging point was. And here I think we started off at something like 9 o'clock. And so I think right off the bat people really enjoyed that. And we tried to create a day that was less logistically challenging and time constrained.
My class day theme was government and politics, and it wasn't necessarily the class that had such an impact on me, but it's that our team still meets even after LSA 35 is complete. We're still meeting on a monthly basis to see what we can do together for nonprofits. So I think that's the most impactful, is the friendship, the camaraderie that we have.
At the end of my day, what we had done is that we had created a puzzle piece, which with each of the days that had been hosted, and we formed it into a dollar bill. And so at the end of the day, everybody put a piece of the puzzle together so that everybody could see how health and human services, how healthcare and bioscience, how quality of life, how transportation, all those things equaled that dollar bill and contributed to the whole as far as economic development was concerned.
My class day theme was health and human services. Working for a nonprofit is kind of near and dear to my heart. So being part of a committee that gets to plan that day and share that with the rest of the class was really exciting. And the best part of the day was just really opening everybody else's eyes to the work that we're doing here in the community. We got to take the class to the San Antonio Food Bank. They got to meet the wonderful artist Michael Nye and his project about hunger and resilience. And really at the end of the class year, a lot of students, a lot of classmates told me that that was very impactful, so I was very proud of that.
I would just say, in the moment, it's so hard to put down the BlackBerry or the iPhone, and I'm not going to tell you I was always great at it, but a year out from LSA, I almost have this nostalgic connection, and I want to go back and do all of the days again. So I would say for people that are doing it, just be in the moment, enjoy it, enjoy the content, enjoy the opportunity to learn about things you would never get to, and enjoy being with your peers. And all the rest will get done another time.
I would say that's continuing to be involved after the fact. It's real easy to, once your class is over, to go off back to your professional career and that's it. But LSA is so much more than that. The connections and friends you make are everlasting and affect your business in a big way. And there'll be multiple things that come up, and my class is probably laughing at me for saying this because I'm probably one of the worst at staying involved, but it really makes a big difference. That's the main purpose.
Take full advantage of those relationships. I think our paths cross for a reason, and the reason for your path to cross in this class is to be able to help each other move to the next level. And I think that opportunities like this only come once in a lifetime. LSA provides it, and I think we should take full advantage of that opportunity.
LSA will provide those opportunities to see things that you may never ever had a chance to visit or learn about. Most importantly, I'd say make friends with your classmates, learn about who they are and what they do, and those relationships I think will last much longer than your 1 year in LSA, and will I think be very beneficial to you, to your organization, and to this city.
Having a background in nonprofit, I kind of knew the services that were out there. But what impacted me the most was learning more about education and what we could do as a city, as a community, to really make that our focus. And the problems that we're facing with dropout rates, teen pregnancy rates, and all of that, and just trying to figure out, for me, where I could fit in and make a difference.
Probably the first or second day of ours was Education Day. And I went to high school and college in San Antonio and, had some experience and figured I knew all there was to know about education, but it was still going to be a fun day and I was looking forward to it. And so our first stop was at KIPP Aspire Academy, and Mark Larson spoke to our group and talked about the education system in San Antonio and the 50% dropout rate and all of these statistics, and it just blew me away. But then I got matched up with a student ambassador to take me around to the campus. And it just so happened that that young lady was supposed to be going to the middle school that ironically fed into my high school. And so I was a little bit more in tune with who she was and where she lived and her particular circumstances, and realized that the education divide has no boundaries in this city. And it really opened my eyes in an incredible way. Left KIPP after 2 hours thinking I picked the wrong profession.
My favorite day was Military Day, I have to say. Being prior military and going back to Lackland Air Force Base and seeing the recruits going through the lunch and seeing the what we call the confidence course, and seeing that still go on and being able to support our troops, I think that was the most impactful for me.
When we went to the county jail, that was probably the most interesting and different and impactful place that I had been. And it was interesting to be able to deal with all of our money clients and high-level people and so forth, but then go into an environment at the Bexar County Jail, which is also the maximum security location, and to see people that were in jail and saying things to you, whispering things to you, yelling things to you, and to feel fear in that closed environment. It was pretty interesting, but I think I learned a lot from that. I think others did as well, to know that there are many different aspects of our society and our city of San Antonio, and we've got to play a role in each of the levels.
Professionally, have done a lot of business with people in my class, and that wasn't the intent, that wasn't the goal, it's just what happens. And so a lot of my clients and investors to date are from my class or subsequent classes.
You get to be really close, and so and you get to have long philosophical discussions, and you get to talking about your careers. And so when people have, when things have come up where they've needed some legal advice or legal help, it really has, people that I knew in LSA have turned to me for various different things.
The LSA network was very helpful to me when I decided to run for city council, which I think probably the whole class was very surprised that I ended up doing that. I was kind of quiet and probably the last person you expect to be running for elected office. But when I decided to do so, my LSA classmates, they came and they supported me wholeheartedly. They had fundraisers for me, they gave me advice, they introduced me to people, and I was just so grateful.
It's been amazing to see the face of our community change with the work of my classmates, like the development here at Pearl, which of course Daryl Bird from Class 30 has spearheaded, and Ivy Taylor doing the work she's doing on revitalizing the East Side and her work with the city in general. The face of healthcare has changed with Trip Pilgrim and the expansion of Baptists in our community. And so just seeing the tangible impact that your classmates can have has been really fun.
But I really felt like after going through LSA that this was my opportunity to really make a change for the positive here in my community, because it's not just enough to say I'm from here and to sit it out on the sidelines. You need to get in the mix, and sometimes that's difficult, and sometimes that involves personal sacrifice. But if we are all personally not very invested in our own communities and trying to figure out a way to make San Antonio a better place to live, work, and play, then we're missing the boat.
LSA has helped me tremendously in my career and personal life. I've made so many great friendships out of my LSA class that I still talk to. Some that I talk to just can pick up the phone and call them and ask them for advice and for help, and they are there. And I think that's the wonderful thing about LSA. You make friends professionally and personally, and those friendships are really true and honest, and they will last you forever. But again, you have to make the effort to open up and to make those connections.
Leadership San Antonio was really an opportunity for us to make a positive difference in the community. And I know that I speak for us when I say that we're very grateful to have been a part of an organization like LSA.